All right, well, this is the moment of truth here. I just turned on the metal detector. I'm going to have it pretty much wide open to listen for iron. I mean, there's got to be iron with all that stacked stone, but oh, heck yeah. Look at this.
Well, hey folks, my name is Brad. If you happen to be new to my videos, I explore the mountains of Vermont searching for treasure with my metal detector. And today's video is part of my misadventure series, days that just don't go quite as planned. On today's adventure, I'm invited to a massive, wild property in the mountains where I search for the ruins of an old home as well as a lost grave.
Well, we are starting the day hiking out to what I'm hoping is a foundation. Unconfirmed. Probably, if I were to give it a percentage chance, I'm going to say 30% chance it's an old building, and 70% that it's just like a sinkhole or something from logging, or who knows. So I'm just using trusty Google Maps. Looks like I'm somewhat walking in the right direction. That way. Looks like there are a bunch of logging trails and stuff out here that have been making my hiking a little bit easier. Think there's any gold in here? Also hoping that the hole in question is not in a stand of ferns like this, because that makes metal detecting a nightmare. See that there was probably logging done here not too long ago, which is why there's no trees. Yeah, I see there's a long cut tree right there. Look at that blow over, holy smokes. 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. I had to drive over an hour to be here today. It's getting a bit of a late start. And it's already 80 degrees. It's supposed to go 90 today. A lot of times I'll wear my long sleeve jacket out here because of the mosquitoes, deer flies this time of year. Just can't do it today. Too hot. Well, I still don't know for sure whether this hole is going to be a foundation or not, but if you can see this is stacked stone right here. When previously looking at this area, maps and stuff, it didn't really seem like there was going to be stone walls and habitation or a farm or anything. So that stacked stone is an amazing sign. We've just bumped it up from 30% chance to 50% chance. Actually, this is starting to look like an old road. I think that the spot is up on this knoll up here. All right, I believe that I have found the hole in question. Oh, heck yeah. Look at this. So I have found a ton of saw pits up in the mountains where people would literally dig a pit. One guy would be in the pit, one guy would be above, and they'd saw up logs that way. This is not that. You can see all the stacked stone. There has been logging here, so we have a bunch of logs down, but also that means that humans have been here within the last 50 years, which means they or any of their buddies have ever metal detected. They probably talked about this place and might have been metal detected before, but it is on private land and the owners didn't say anything about that, so let's see what we might find. All right, well, this is the moment of truth here. I just turned on the metal detector. I'm going to have it pretty much wide open to listen for iron. I mean, there's got to be iron with all that stacked stone, but we're going to see if we can find our first target to dig up together. No iron yet. Yep, there's some iron there. hoping for iron because of nails, of course. So you can probably see that the foundation is that way, and I'm over off to the side just because this is where it's most open and easy. I'll slowly make my way around the foundation, but this is not good, and I don't want to spend my time trudging through all the hardest stuff first. And so again, there's still multiple things that could go wrong here. This could not be a foundation, so there won't be anything to find here. Well, it does seem like there are quite a few nails. It could have been inhabited for just a very short period of time, and so they didn't lose very much or anything. And also could have been metal detected in the past. On paper, it looks great. Nothing yet, though. That I'm fairly confident is iron. Okay. First target. Mid-tone. All right, we got a 62, a little bit scratchy. Let's see. Rock. Foundation stone, probably. I always put these back after I take them out. This appears to be an iron wedge, a big, real thick nail. For timber, I would imagine. I don't know if that was the target, the 60 target I heard. It is not. I'm going to keep searching. This in and of itself is a good sign, though. Look at that. That is a teeny tiny lead pewter spoon bowl, which to me says late 1700s, easily, maybe earlier. They were living here, they had utensils. This little one, you would think baby or child or something, but it was very likely for salt or sugar or some kind of little serving utensil. I'd say that's a fine first hole for the prospects of this place. 62. Well, that is the tiniest little broken lead pewter button. Very, very old. It's probably mid-1700s. Great, great, great sign. Very scratchy 80. It's a nail. Just a little fragment of a nail. So that was it. But very old red brick. 58, 60. That is the tiniest little lead ball. We call these bucking balls because they were shot out of a musket along with others of this size, kind of like a shotgun, but they were followed by a much larger musket ball, bucking ball. Good sign. Probably didn't originate here like it was dropped, but it's an old spot, old hunting. Well, this is iron for sure, but it seems like it's big, like it could be a tool or horseshoe, who knows. Fortunately, it's in all of this logging debris. We'll see. Whoa. Nope, that is not a tool, that is an iron spoon bowl. Interesting. Quite a ways from the foundation too, which, you know, I usually start close to the foundation, then slowly expand out. Don't usually find home items like this so far away, but you know, maybe there was another structure out here. A lot of times in the summertime, folks would have an outside kitchen because you don't want to have a fire in the house. It's 90 degrees outside like today. Maybe that's this. I don't know. Great find. Well, we are now heading back. Spent, I don't know, 30 minutes at that foundation hole. Found 2 spoon bowls, 1 button, some iron nails and bricks and stuff. But the landowner really invited me today to metal detect around their home. But I noticed, almost stumbled on the mountain there. But I noticed that there was probably a foundation on the land. I say probably now that I know that it is one, but I thought there was a 30% chance there was a foundation out in the woods, so I got here an hour early to go check it out. But now, to be quite honest, I want to spend the day at that foundation. So we'll talk to her. And really, we also have a goal today of finding a grave. So maybe we'll do that first and then we'll head back out in the woods. It's definitely approaching 90 degrees. I would much rather be in the woods next to a stream than in a field today. We'll see. Hi there. Great. Yeah, that questionable spot I saw is definitely a foundation. There's stacked stone in the interior, and I spent, I don't know, 30 minutes and found some home stuff. Great. It's great. We got an iron spoon, which is, yep, but this is a little pewter, like salt or sugar spoon. And since it's pewter, this is like 1750s, 1780s, something like that to go along with this little button, broken button.
Awesome. So, yeah, so this is my farm. Pretty special, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The view, crazy.
So I was thinking I was going to show you where I think the gravesite area
Sure.
is. And then, I don't know how much time you have, but I want to show you where the old sugar house was.
Okay.
And there's an old ice house that was connected to the barn.
Okay.
Should we start with, I'll show you where I think the grave is.
I would love to do that
Let's
first.
do
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
I mean, we're here.
For sure.
Over the next few minutes, the owner of the property and I discuss her childhood memories of this grave, as well as look over some old maps and aerial photos of where it would make the most sense for a child's grave to be placed.
What I remember as a kid, I remember walking up towards the well house. And
Is this the well house here?
This is the well house.
Okay.
And you would come upon the grave, and it seemed to me like it was in like a mound of moss, sort of. Like it felt like it was on a little mound of something.
Okay.
But it wasn't obviously right next to the well house, because that would be weird. Like you don't
Sure.
put buried bodies
Next to your water supply.
Um,
This seems very wet.
It's very wet. It's
Yeah.
always wet.
So yeah, I think that, you know, up on this knoll seems like a perfect spot.
Yep, the knoll or that knoll. One of those two knolls.
Up through, yeah. So I'm
And it's
imagining,
flat.
like the little square ones with a single letter on it, or is it
Yes.
bigger than that?
It wasn't tiny.
Yeah, okay.
It was like
Oh, okay.
this, like a foot by 8 by 12, something like that. It
Yeah.
wasn't tiny. It was a gravestone.
Yeah. We're on the search for the grave, and what I'm thinking, this seems like a terrible place for a grave because looks wet. You can see there's bridges down. Where would I put a loved one? Up on a knoll. There's a knoll there. There's a knoll up there. Fortunately, that knoll is covered with ferns and brush that was thrown. The stone is supposed to be, I don't know, 10 inches. And I don't have a good way of doing this other than just testing with the shovel for rocks. There are some rocks there already. Looking for a square marker. Really, this one up here seems way more likely. might be a springtime thing.
After spending about 30 minutes attempting to find the stone by haphazardly kicking aside leaves and hitting the ground with my shovel, we decide to try again after the ferns have died back with a better plan, more appropriate tools, and possibly more people. The owner then shows me several more places around the historic farm where I can metal detect, but because of the heat, I decide to hike back into the cooler forest and spend a few more hours at the Colonial Foundation.
Well, we have a beautiful, very loud 77, strong target. Let's see. Button? I think so. Look how off-center that shank is. It's crazy. The question is there anything on it? It's always the question. There is, but it is a very subtle decorative design there. Nothing significant, just a civilian button, but a good one. 65. Place your bets. It is a modern lead bullet. Not even a button. GoPro stop record. GoPro stop record. GoPro stop record. GoPro stop record. Alright, you can stay on. 73. This is probably a button. That's a root. Aha! There's the button. Oh, that one's actually a bit later. There's a back mark on there. Probably talks about how gold-plated it is. I knew there was a button around here somewhere. Well, it is 1:30. And what did I find? I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons, 2 spoon bowls, and a little musket ball. But I think I'm going to call it here and probably never return, even though it is the basement hole for a colonial home up in the mountains. I think that if I spent the rest of the day here, another 4 or 5 hours, I could probably find a few more buttons. Maybe a copper coin, but it's not worth my time. So we're gonna go somewhere else. We're gonna pick up our gear, hike out, and luckily there is another spot on the same property. But hopefully we can still find some cool stuff. Thanks for watching. These are the videos you don't normally see.